I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you, I'll fight
for my brothers. We can go to war. Fighting for my father, I will give my life for. I feel so alone in this white man's world. Whip it in the kitchen, watch that white turn pearl. Standing on the corner, standing on my phone. Standing with my gangsters, but I'm standing on my own. If you let me alone, split you like you be alone. Sacrifice my life, understanding each his own. Toast to the keys of success. Bel Air rose on my breath. I've been a student since '03, and we can fight till we see peace.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Let me holler at you for a minute, give you game. Real scrappy, love the bottom, Buddha bang. Trigger happy, and everybody in the game. You shot your family and didn't even know it, man. Same rules, same code, with a different slang. Struck him out, and now they took him out to picture frame. Mama, don't cry, we gon' get by. 2 weeks later, got killed in a drive-by. Why must we fight amongst each other? Reach one, each one, teach one, my brother. I teach them how to fight on the grass and in the class. Snoop Dogg, all stars, yes sir, they coming fast. D1, football, we won. Now I'm proud of my son, Lil Snoop, yes sir, cause he won. Right on, SC, fight on. We 100, keep it coming, dip, slip, slide on, light on. Fight on.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Watching the warriors, the story of the rebels. You from the ghetto, did you know never to settle? I'm shooting common on the streets, I'm a pharaoh. Battling in African-American apparel. This on a t-shirt, youngins doing street work. Grinding till they teeth hurt, that's because they need work. Working till the feet hurt, trying to get my soul right. Used to be on old bikes, serving them that cold white. Wars in the winters, the block is hot in summers. Today's mathematics, we know it's strength in numbers. To the bosses and the runners, the hustlers and the stunners. We fight for the hundreds, we fight for the oneness.
He fights with the heat. He fights with the sleet. He said, I am who I am. I can't be beat. Nobody has won a war against me. I fight like that. 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 I fight. All of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply. And the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom, real justice, and real equality.
Now here's the next one. We're affected by what we know. What you know, what you don't know. The accumulation of knowledge or the lack of knowledge affects your dreams, affects your future, affects your income, affects your bank account, affects your associations, affects everything. It's great to hear Charlie talk about reading books. So important. All the speakers here have mentioned, right? You've got to really be a student, study, so you can learn how to make wise decisions that'll give you the best chance to build for the future. Okay, here's what's next. We're affected by results. Whatever your current economic results, whatever projects you've launched, the results up until now, that affects you. The results you've had in the past, up until now, that's affected you. Now here's number 5. We're affected by our dreams. Our dreams meaning our view of the future for ourselves. Now here's a note to make. It's important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. Now we talked yesterday about reviewing the past, which is fine, but we're not to live in the past. Some people let the past pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it, to pull you back. Not just to think about it, to get advice from mistakes to carry on for the future. But some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the future, the past, to pull us back, to live in the past. And all other kinds of things that affect us. It's going to affect us to some extent, but not to the extent that we should be affected by the future. So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction. Now, not only does your goals and your objectives pull you that direction, here's what they also do. They pull you through. They pull you through all kinds of down days. They pull you through a difficult time. It'll pull you through some winter of your life. Some people get lost in the confusion of the day simply because their goal is not bright enough to pull them through. One writer of ancient times said we can walk through the valley. Even though there's shadows of death around, we walk through the valley. And here's why it's possible to walk through the valley, even though there's death and shadows and difficulties, is because we have a view of the other side of the valley. Next, it's goals that drive us to take advantage of the spring. Why would the farmer put the plow in the ground in the spring if he couldn't see the vision of the harvest when the summer is finished? Is it possible to see the finished harvest? And the answer is yes. We do that simply by faith. Key phrase, faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist. And that's how things exist. How did this hotel get here? Someone saw it while the property was vacant. You say, well, is it possible to see this hotel when it isn't here? And the answer is yes, of course. If somebody cannot see it when it is not here, then it will never be here. So it's possible to see things that don't yet exist. Interesting. It's also a little time management quote, but let me quote it now because it goes so well with what we're talking about here. When should you start building this hotel? This is a good question for your philosophical musings. When should we start building the house? When should we start? And here's the answer. As soon as it's finished. You wouldn't start building the house until you had it finished. If you just started laying bricks and somebody came around and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just laying bricks. And said, what are you building? And you said, I have no idea. See, they'll take you away to a safe place. So have you got that now? It's possible to finish something before you start. In fact, it would be a bit foolish to start until you had it finished. So human beings have this remarkable ability to finish something and then start it. Okay. We've heard the old expression, don't count your chickens until they're hatched. No, we have the ability to count our chickens long before they're hatched. Because we know, we have faith, we believe. We use the law of averages. There's bound to be at least so many. Out of every dozen, out of every 100, out of every 50. So it's possible to see the end, then begin. So here's what we want to do in our goal-setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. I was in business with Bob Cummings, the old movie star, for a while. He said, decide what you want and then act as if you already had it. And being an actor, he could give us a few tips on acting. Decide what you want and act as if it was already yours. Now, the reason we can act thinking that it's already ours is because not only can we vision the end results, we can also vision the beginning of making it real. So we don't start till it's finished, but it is possible for human beings to finish something before they start. Just jot this down, it's a bit philosophical, but we'll cover it before we take our lunch break. And that's this: human beings are the only life on earth that has this incredible capacity to change the course of your life. No other life form can do that. Every other life form except humans seems to operate simply by instinct and the genetic code. In the winter, the goose flies south. How often? Answer: every winter. If you said to the goose, hey, it'd be better this year to go west, he ignores that advice. And the reason is because he cannot make choices and listen to advice of something that might be better. He has to obey instinct and the genetic code. But now jot this down: not human beings. Human beings can alter the course of their life. Human beings can live one way for 5 years, tear up that script, live a totally different way the next 5 years. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Second 6 years, I wound up rich. Someone says, how did you do that? Here's number one: I discovered I was not a goose. Someone says, don't you have to do the second 6 years like you did the first 6 years? And jot this down. No, you don't have to live the second 6 years like the first 6. You can use all the information and all the advice and repairing all of your mistakes and adopting a new and refined philosophy so that the next 6 years can be totally different than the last 6. No other life form can do this. See, if you were a tree, you'd be stuck. As a tree, if you used up all the nourishment that was around you and you couldn't change location, see, you would die. But that's not true. Human beings can change location, go north, south, east, west, live here for a while, live somewhere else for a while. So that's a note to make. You can greatly alter the course of your life. Now here's the next note to make. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is, where? This is for mature people now. If you keep up your present disciplines and keep up the present pace that you're on, where will you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, hey, I haven't really thought about that. So now make this note. In 5 years, here's the probability. You will either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. Well-designed or undesigned. And I promise you, 5 years from now, you really don't want to arrive at an undesigned destination. Because you may very well wind up wearing what you don't want to wear, driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live, maybe doing what you don't want to do. simply because you didn't design a better destination. Key phrase, up front, the decisions are easy. Now, sometimes after we've lived a few years now, to repair our mistakes and get back on track seems like a tough job. If you've messed up your health for 10 years, I'm telling you, it takes more than 10 days to get it back. But here's the key, and it's so exciting to talk to the teenagers. Make the note, if you start early, the fortune belongs to you. If you start early. And we're going to talk later today about the fortune of the money, not just the fortune of good health, but all fortunes that are available to humans. If you start early, the promise looms large and the odds are heavy in your favor. Now, yes, it's possible to do some radical things starting late and still arrive with some good treasures and some good things. But when you haven't got that much time left, now sometimes the decision has to be so drastic, people are not willing to make it, and they're too tired and too weary and too ill. And say, look, I don't have much time left. It's not going to happen for me anyway. It's easy to take that attitude. But everyone here, we've got the time over the next 10 years. We've got the time the next 20 years. We've got the time the next 30 years to make some repair now in our errors of the past and set up some new disciplines. And I'm telling you, that's going to change everything. So 5 years from now, I wish for you to arrive at a well-designed place. A place of productivity, a place that'll make you feel good about yourself, a place that'll give you honor and respect, a place that'll give you influence to touch other people 5 years from now that you couldn't do today. Where will you be in 5 years? Key phrase, we go the direction we face. We go the direction we face. If you start designing something at the end of this direction, sure enough, you will start going the direction you face. And we face the direction we design. Next phrase, direction determines destination. Destination is not determined by hope, it's not determined by wish. Destination is determined by direction. Now here's the good news, and then we're going to take our break for lunch. You cannot change destination overnight. You cannot change destination overnight. Which means you can't arrive at a 5 years from now place tomorrow. But here's what you can change today, and overnight, you can change direction. And it is so fascinating what a little small change of direction will do. Let's say that you're here and you're headed this way. And 5 years from now, you'll wind up here. But if you made just a few changes, and maybe those changes you've already decided on this weekend. I wish I had a chance to hear all of the stories of what's going to happen to all of you after this weekend. Right? The economic decisions you've made, the decisions you've made about your family, about your health, and about your future. I'm telling you, decision making on an occasion like this, where everybody's committed to come and learn and study and read and take notes and change and develop, it's going to be awesome what can happen after this weekend. And I wish I could track everybody's progress and enjoy all of that incredible productivity that's going to happen for all of us. Collectively, I'm telling you, no telling how big that amount would be. But here's how we individually can arrive at a new destination. Maybe right now by discipline or lack of discipline or direction, you're headed this way. But it wouldn't take much to change direction and head this way. So that in 5 years, you wind up here instead of here. And the difference now of getting off this track and getting on this track is not much. A few decisions in discipline, a few decisions in learning, a few decisions in change of behavior, change of habit, a few decisions in setting goals that you've sort of let drift before. Like I did at age 25, didn't have a list. I immediately started to change that. And I immediately started to change my direction so that very quickly I started heading this direction. In less than 7 years, I was a millionaire. And that was just my economics. And sure enough, when I met my mentor, I was headed this way. And here's where I would have been in 5 or 6 years. Maybe okay. You know, my kids probably wouldn't have been starving. And maybe, you know, we got clothes to wear and a place to live. But the joy of productivity and the joy of becoming valuable to the marketplace and more valuable to my family and valuable to my friends in my inner circle, all of that probably would have escaped me if I would have kept going this way. But I am so thankful for the circumstances and whatever else arranged it for me. Some things are arranged, we don't even know how they've occurred. For you to be here, do you imagine the chain of circumstances that caused you to be able to sit in this auditorium today? It's amazing. This had to happen, and this had to happen, and this door had to close, and this door had to open. And all of those things, for me to be here, for you to be here, how come I just didn't drop out of the sky? By all kinds of turns and events, I wind up in Dallas on this June weekend, like year 2001. And you arrived here from all kinds of directions. Here we are. And so we just say, wow, part of that's a mystery, and we let it be a mystery. We don't even try to figure it out. We just say, wow, it's incredible. But now that we're here, how could we collectively and individually affect each other's lives? It's by doing just what we've done: study, learn, teach, shake hands, trade stories, and do all this stuff, so that we can help other people as well as ourselves to make that small journey to a new direction. So jot that down. It's only a small journey to a new direction. Guess how quickly you can change your health? By starting to eat an apple a day. Mama said an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Let's say you've been ill long enough and you've had health problems long enough, and you say, that's it. That's over. I'm going to now start a program. You don't have to really revolutionize your whole health life. Just start with an apple a day. You say, well, is it that simple to change your health life? And the answer is yes. The key is just to start. You know, you pick up a book on good health and you get halfway through the book and it says, now, dear reader, set this book aside, fall down on the floor and see how many push-ups you can do. And then it goes on to say, and if you have not done that, why not give this book away? It looks like you're not going to do it. Come on, you don't have to radically do something. You can gain momentum and make changes as you go. Just start. Here's what happens when you start a new direction. Self-esteem starts to accelerate. It doesn't take much for you to feel good about yourself. Just committed to a new direction and you feel good. And an apple a day, committed to finally having a health program that'll make you the healthiest you've ever been in the next 20 years. All you got to do is munch on that first apple, and nobody even has to be around, and you don't have to announce it to the world. But you munch on that first apple and say, this is the beginning of developing a health program that's going to make me so healthy I'll have the vitality to do whatever I want to do for the next 30 years of my life. Munch, munch, happy, happy, self-esteem off the scale. Now, if you eat an apple the second day, you become almost delirious, saying, wow, I'm on my way. Somebody said, just 2 apples? Says, look, you don't understand. Not only did I do it yesterday, I've done it again today. This is really proving to myself with no audience, no microphones, no nothing, just you and yourself. You've convinced yourself, I'm on my way to the healthiest I ever have been. I'm starting a new life. This is the second day. I'm on my way. That's how easy it is to change your life. You don't need some dramatic vision. Just begin something. And maybe by health or by whatever other things we can think of to do, you just get back on a better track. Okay? It's a small journey to changing direction. And by the time we finish our workshop, right after lunch, I think you're going to have a concept of how powerful it can be, not only how easy it can be, but how powerful it can be to change every part of your life
as a wealth builder. This is our 50th broadcast of Classes in Session. 50th, 50. It's the anniversary of the show, the program. Now, the anniversary is not my 50th anniversary. I've been there a decade ago. But what I'm saying to you is that this particular class, structured Classes in Session, is the 50th consistent broadcast that we have done on this platform. And I can't tell you how grateful and humbled I am to know that all of you here, the majority of you here, have been with us every step of the way. And here's the power in it, folks. We're just beginning. We're only just beginning. There were so many jewels and gems dropped in that presentation, which I like to call Opportunity from Jim Rohn. We're going to break that down a little bit. And some things immediately came to mind just before getting to the housekeeping notes. There's some things immediately came to mind. And it was funny. I'm jotting down things. I look up and I see others jotting down the same exact points. So it's a wonderful thing to be in lockstep and on the same page with each other. He talked about the joy of productivity. You know, it's found in the direction. You know, it's found in the destination we seek. And he talked about the different chains of events that took place that we had no active process in to bring us where we are today. The lives that we touch, the people we meet, the events that took us from one stream to the next stream that may have brought us here, the things that took place where I just sort of woke up and hit a button on the phone and it brought me here. Or it could have been something as simple as just walking around outside and you got a random thought that crosses your mind and you say, you know what? It's not so random, is it? But you know what? Maybe I'll go and check out Mr. Dalco this morning on YouTube. Or maybe I'll go and check out the Classes in Session to see what we're doing there on the Facebook page. So, you know, there's so many different things that speak to how we get where we are. And I personally don't worry as much about how we got there as long as I'm on the path, on a road to a greater good, and on a road to correction and correctness. So I'm really grateful to what a lot of us shared. And this is the last thing I'll say before going to the housekeeping notes, okay? He talked about that apple a day. I started to write it down, and I saw Cece beat me to it about one day at a time. Carrot bars is our apple. Our wealth building formula is the apple for the world. The apple a day keeps the doctor away. What does that mean? That means a self-imposed healing is taking place. And we aren't necessarily in need of the doctor because we're doing all the preventive things, taking all the preventive measures to be and do what we need to be. You know, and many of us probably heard it most of our lives, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Let me ask you this. Suppose that's true. I mean, think about it. Suppose that is really true. Then I would think it would behoove us to do something just as simple as that. Taking our daily apples, because it keeps the need for repair down. You know, okay, all right, I said it was the last point, but it wasn't. I got a bunch of them, but all right. Reparations. You know, reparations by generic definition means repair, correcting a wrong. That's what it is for reparations, okay? Well, you know how the saying goes, charity begins at home, then goes abroad? Well, this is not charity, but I want you to look at it this way. If we're not willing to forgive ourselves, if we're not willing to work on ourselves, if we're not willing to repair those faculties, those things that are required so that we can enjoy the repair once authored or enjoy the blessing once delivered, then do we really deserve it? It's a thought. It's a thought. I hear a lot of talk. I mean, most of my life, you know, we've always talked about reparations between our household, the communities I was exposed to, the revolutionary struggles that I've been a part of. But the question always, it always was raised in my mind. I'm looking at somebody making these demands, and they're almost impoverished, or they're almost destitute, or they're almost homeless. And not everybody. There's one or two persons that came across my mind, and I watched how the community embraced them and helped them to grow and help their children to create shelter and maintain themselves. And that's what always kept me in the revolutionary struggle, because as long as you serve the people never let you down. You know, that should be a sign for us to go back into the recesses of our mind, or go into the confines of our home and work on self, to the extent where we begin to repair those things that brought us to that particular place in our lives. That particular place is not welcome. That particular place that is not advantageous to our desires and our dreams. You know, and when we work on it behind the closed door, we eat the apple that no one knows anything about, and we find a reward in it. We eat another one the next day, and then the next day, and then we add different nutrients to help us get fit and stay strong. Imagine what kind of force we are in the world when we finally step out from behind that door. And it's just a thought that Mr. Rohn, he really kicked a lot of things off in me, because number one, it gives affirmation to what it is that we're attempting to do. What we believe is within our control and our power is allowing us to dream big and not let anyone or anybody steal our dreams. So happy 50th anniversary. Happy 5th anniversary to Classes in Session. And I like the little sparkles and whatnot there. What's that? Confetti, they call it? Yeah, that was nice. Nice touch. My children are sensational. All right. Now, housekeeping rule number one. Number one, because of the urgency to get this message out, a special Classes in Session this Saturday, June 27th at 8 a.m. Eastern. 8 a.m. Eastern. How to Close the Wealth Gap with Mr. Ty Best. This is a live communication, a live event happening right here on the Eric Toure Muhammad Facebook page. The live event special WBW broadcast, a special Class in Session. Now, we always operate Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. Right here. However, this particular Saturday, the class is being conducted by none other than our Wealth Building Worldwide founder and CEO, Hall of Fame international networker, Mr. Tyrone Best. Okay, so that's Saturday morning, 8 a.m. I want us to show the world that we respect the leadership, the legacy, and the honor that this man provides us by making his presence felt, finding it important on his mind, heart, and spirit to be here with us, and we need to share it and bless it out to the world. I watched different wealth building presentations, and I'm not hating on anybody, but I watched a presentation a couple of days ago, and a handful of international people jumped on, and more than 1,000 people were on that stream. More than 1,000 people. I was one of the 1,000. So I'm not saying how dare they, but what I'm saying is when we take serious the magnitude of what we represent, when we take serious the culture of what we have, you know, there's over 100,000 wealth builders worldwide that this man and his wife, Sister Valerie Best, produced from their minds, folks. Just imagine the power in that. Just imagine the power in our growth and in our honor and our respect for the culture and the crafting of the culture, the art of the culture of wealth building. Just imagine what happens when all of us bring 5 people to this presentation. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., June 27th, How to Close the Wealth Gap with Mr. Ty Best. All right, the brass tactics to it all. Paying yourself first. Have you paid yourself first lately? Pay yourself first. You will thank yourselves later. Your future will thank yourselves for it. 1/10 of a gram saved every day creates a legacy free from want and lack for future generations. You want to be able to take care of your business, not business, but business. You saw the clip from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is live on the world stage Saturday, July 4th. His subject matter, the criterion. Blessed is he who sent down the discrimination upon his servant that he might be a warner to the nations. That's July 4th, noi.org, org is the page, seen all over the world, 8 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 4 p.m. in the UK and throughout the west of Africa. All right. And 10:45 today, you know the rules. It is the amazing power call. It is hump day, baby. Man, I had a preview last night on our Gold is Gold show. I want to thank Brother Khalito Muhammad for allowing that platform to continue and to maintain itself on Confounding Radio. We had a wonderful time last night with Brother Willie Brown. Oh, that brother is awesome, man. He brought out so much stuff in us. We were ready to go to church. We would have passed the bucket if we were a little closer. I mean, he was awesome. He touched on every value system that you can imagine to help us get further in our households. Just the simple things for individuals, for couples, for families, for businesses. Just the simple truths. Man, it was awesome. And he and his wife, Sister Sherry Brown, are hosting the Wednesday Power Call today on www.goldrocks.info at 10:45 a.m. And then immediately after, we have the 12 noon presentation, the wealth building presentation. We drive all of our teams there, the new affiliates, the new guests, the prospects, the families that we want to understand. And then we get random with it. We'll go after everybody else. But we bring everybody to the opportunity because it could start with you. Their life can change with you. Do you realize the power you have at the click of a button by just sending an invite or calling someone? You can literally change the course of someone else's life, just like yours was changed. So the mandate here, each one, meet one, greet one, invite one. www.goldrocks.info is our events platform page. 12 noon and 9 p.m. all the presentation times. Okay, we also have the huddle today. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the huddle's at 7:45 p.m. Eastern on the same platform. I'll update the information as soon as I receive it, or if any of you receive it on the stream, you're welcome to put it in the comments. And then, of course, Confounding Radio tonight. Hey, Brother Carlito, rocking that beard. Ooh, whoa. Brother Carlito is hosting the 19th Element with Dr. Aleem and Brother Mustafa Muhammad. They are on tonight. It's the weekly update on COVID-19 and those preventals that you can do, the things you need to be made aware of on a consistent basis. Because if you depend on the news is designed to manipulate commercially the progress of their activity, their desires. But when you have people who are on the ground and absolutely know what's going on and absolutely understand the process by which you can preserve, maintain, protect, and save yourselves and your family, you want to be there. So Dr. Abdul Aleem Muhammad, the 19th Element on Kafani Radio, 9 p.m. Eastern, along with the co-host, Brother Mustafa Muhammad. And then tonight, whoa. Tonight's Freedom Call. This might be a first, but Mrs. Valerie Best, co-founder and CEO of Wealth Builders Worldwide, she's doing the presentation tonight. Boy, we're so flat out excited. I can't even tell you how excited we are. But 10 p.m. Eastern on the Gold Rocks channel, www.goldrocks.info. Her subject matter is truth, money, and you. Do you know that 80% of the marketplace in networking is comprised of women? 80% of it. Less in the leadership of it, but 80% of it still creates the revenue of a more than $200 billion industry a year. There's something to this, and there's something sensational about this platform tonight. So 10 p.m. Eastern, www.goldrocks.info. Truth, money, and you with Mrs. Valerie Best. And of course, I want to thank y'all for being a part of the 90-day run to wealth. We had a great time last night, I think. What y'all think? I mean, we had a great time, and it's open to everyone. It's an open house, open season all the way around. We announced some activities that will take place over the next few weeks with many of the leaders that were on that platform, and you'll see it as it grows. So text your full name, your email address, and the message 90, that's 90, to 404-246-5708, 404-246-5708. Subscribe to the Eric Teray Muhammad YouTube channel. That's a free subscription. and send a donation of $2 to Cash App at $eTuray or PayPal, paypal.me/Eric Turay, where we're producing some stuff for you that's just simply amazing. And I want to show you just a little aspect of it so that you understand, because I want to show you the genesis of how we began, you know, because it all starts with you. The week one, in the first few weeks, we identified money in the home. We created a bucket list and cash dropped. We had a presentation from the leaders, Mr. Best and Mr. Dalco, in week 3. In week 4, we grew the income by pooling our streams within our household. We had a little homework assignment that everybody had fun with. We were sharing and exchanging last night. We found out that we were heroes and sheroes, you know. And then with the whole saving mechanism of cash goal, creating emergency funds, all these things happen in just a few short weeks. And yesterday, we went through the increasing the Ckass income streams. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. This particular presentation is on the YouTube channel. It was released publicly last night. And man, it was just really powerful in this 90-day run. How did we get there? I want you to see this clip from, this was done by Mr. Dalco, posted 3 years ago. But it's been part of the Ckass mantra since its inception into North America and throughout the world. I think this was reduced roughly 5 years ago. Ckass has been around for 10 years, folks. We're coming into our 10th year, coming up on our 10th year anniversary, and many of us are just getting here. But think about where you are now and where they were when they produced this opportunity.
Hello. It seems that if there's anything today that's a constant for most people, it's their uncertainty, whether it's about their income, or their investments, or their savings, or whether or not they'll outlive their money. And if they don't outlive the money, will the money be worth anything in 20 years? If I could show you a simple, affordable, conservative strategy to save more, spend less, protect your assets, and alleviate uncertainty, and spin off $4,000 to $5,000 a week in passive residual income, do you think you'd want to take a look? Here's the good news. The miracle of this innovative system is that no one has to buy anything or sell anything to convince anyone else to buy or sell anything in order to accomplish that goal. The only thing you or anyone else will need to do is make one small change in how they save the money that they were going to save anyway. Here's an important question. Do you think a $100 bill is going to spend as far next year as it does this year? If not, what are you going to do about it? Do you think that we're heading for another recession? If so, again, what are you going to do about it? Thousands of people who already have money, who understand money, have a logical, relevant, no-nonsense solution which solves all debt, savings, and currency crisis for any individual at any income level. What we have here in order to do that is not speculation. This next recession, it's widely believed that the largest single transfer of wealth in the history of mankind will take place. Now, recessions and depressions, they don't destroy wealth. They merely transfer it from the unprepared to the prepared who position themselves to receive it. The question is, which one do you plan to be? The only thing you need change is a small change in your savings and banking routine. If you'd like to know more, again, without buying anything, we will show you simple tasks that you need to perform. You do not have to wait to put this into play, and you can't get hurt doing it. We show people how to set up free gold accumulation plans without any risk. And you take your paper money, which is losing purchasing power, and you exchange it into gold money, physical metal, not a stock or an ETF or commodity. It preserves your labor. As the value of your paper money decreases, what happens to the price of your gold? It begins to go up in price, or it certainly preserves the value of what it was at the time you made the exchange. This means that no matter what you do, it balances out the losses that you're taking in your paper money, whatever career you're in, whatever you did to earn that money. So many here have become financially independent within 12 to 18 months by following a proven, simple guideline. And yes, it is simple, but it's not easy. The most difficult thing to do is to pass an idea from one person to another without being misunderstood. Just ask anyone who's married. You were very clear to your spouse in what you were trying to say. They just didn't hear it the same way. That's why this message here was made, to pass an idea as simply as possible. I ask you this. What is your level of interest on a scale of 1 to 10 to find more information, to take a look? The only thing you'll be doing, instead of saving all your cash in paper, you'll be saving some of it in the form of gold as currency, not contracts or commodities. And it's a free account. It's a way to leverage your labor, It can be done very part-time. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that some people who hear this, their interest will be 10 out of 10. One of our business partners will get back to you and give you more details and a link to their website. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow. Now, what is so different about that presentation and what we have in front of us today in 2020? The difference in the presentation is the product. The bedrock of what we do is saving gold. And that's what we had. And in truth, that's all we had at the time that presentation was done. And we were earning in the upwards of $4,000 and $5,000 a week by a simple process of saving gold, telling other people, and making money. We were consistent. We were persistent, as Sister Stephanie Pryor says. We were a force for ourselves. We proved to ourselves. And finally, family, let me say this. That was more than 450,000 affiliates ago. Ckass now is 1 million affiliates worldwide. When Mr. Best and Mr. Dalco came to the opportunity, when Cece Mahone and Sister Maui and Sister Roz Range, they all came to the opportunity. When they came, there were just over 300,000 affiliates in the opportunity. And these were individuals who pulled together behind Mr. and Mrs. Tyrone Best. Look where we are today, 1 million affiliates, not just worldwide. Look at the growth of the wealth builders worldwide. Culturally, we're over 100,000 plus. We have the largest cultural structure in the world of financial literacy. Do you understand the power of, I mean, Mark Pies is on this stream. You know, you may not know who that is or what that means to you. But if you don't know, I guarantee that you want to go visit the Academy of Financial Education. His comment, his link is in this stream. I ask him to provide that link every single time he jumps on the stream. I don't care if I'm talking about frying donuts, because he'll show you how to take the greatest advantage of that enterprising effort. Whether it's frying donuts or saving gold, you really need to go to www.theacademyofinancialeducation.com, Brother Mark and Sister Levita Marie Pius. Okay, you really, 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 truly need to understand the power of the future you have, you know, in this opportunity. The multiple streams of income that come your way just through this opportunity. So just recap real quick. That little video clip, 3 minutes some change, I think it was 3 minutes, 29 seconds, somewhere around there, okay? It didn't involve gold cryptocurrency. It didn't involve a blockchain. It didn't involve a carrot bit exchange. It didn't involve a multi-gold package. It didn't involve cash gold. It wasn't even in existence. Ckass produced all of that, folks, and then some more. And there are more innovations coming down the pipe. There was no K1 Impulse phone. There was no WIM laptop computer. And people were millionaires then. In 3, 5, 7 years ago. What do we determine today? You see, so when the subject matter for today is see the end, then begin. You have to have an end game to your dream or your vision. I love the end game that Larry Wiggins Bay, who graced us with his presence on this stream today. I love the end game that he introduces every day. Grow your team, fam, or we will. Right? Or they about to work. He and his team, they're about to grind. There's no doubt about it. And everybody grinds in their own particular way. So my skill set may not be yours. My activity may not be yours. My expression of it and my zeal for it may not be yours. The way I may say a thing may offend you. The way you may say a thing might be complimentary. However, it's still our grind, and we grow our teams. So when I hear that, I know the end game. He's trying to build an army of wealth builders, and he takes no shorts and he makes no apologies for it. You know, Team Street Ministry the same way. Nobody makes apologies for this opportunity who seriously understands what's before us. No one. That's why you have the 50th broadcast right here of Classes in Session. Not because I have so much to say, The only reason I have anything to say because many of you have taught me and still teach me, and you help me to see a better road and a better way to communicate internally these principles of wealth building. And it's like an apple a day. We just chew a little bit here and there, and it helps us get through the hour. We can skip lunch. Well, some of us can. Yesterday, I was off the hook. I was running around here, sore as all get out from all the activity I accomplished from that night before. And here I am running around cooking everything. Barbecue chicken, baked chicken, boiling stuff. I mean, I was doing all kinds of, eating some of it too. But I just had this desire just to do it. I felt good about what we had accomplished. I mean, man, we eliminated which feels like a twinkling of an eye, of a reoccurring debt that went up to the numbers of $8,000 to $9,000 almost, folks. And we totally wiped it out. I'm talking about in my household. And we created additional surplus for us now because we no longer have to pay on that reoccurring debt. It is gone. So what do you do with the money that you had to pay out monthly? See? What do you do with it? Okay. What do you do with it? How do you flip it now to further your advantage in creating wealth for yourself? That's the wealth builder philosophy, folks. That's what we have here. Man, Mr. Rohn dropped so many jewels in that piece. I wrote these notes. I want to give them out before we go. And thank you for your time and the opportunity to share with you. All right. And remember, tell everybody to be here. Now we're every day, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m., classes in session, but Saturday morning at 8 a.m., June 27th, get everybody to the screen, to the call. Brother Tyrone Best will be here to share Closing the Wealth Gap exclusively with us to share with the world. So everyone's assignment is to bring 5 people. 5 people. Okay. So Mr. Rohn says that we have the capacity to change the course of our lives. He cited the goose, and you can't make them fly west if their DNA, if their composition, if their instruction, if their makeup is to fly south. Okay. Only the human being has the power to change the course of our lives, and we can do it in a moment's notice. Sister Shaniqua, as well as Sister Cece, cited it. Small journey. It's a small journey to a new direction. Man, he dropped some jewels. Philosophy determines how you live, or how your life works out. And the reason why I titled this "See the End, Then Begin," because we have to become a product of our own conclusion. What is the end game? What is it that we desire? What do we want? The further out we see it, the longer our strivings and our desires can be realized. All right. Failure is, this was just a note from other studies. Failure is few errors in judgment repeated. We need failures, folks. So don't quit when you come across a setback. It's only to step you back, to move you forward. Sometimes you had to adjust your steps to jump the hurdle. All right. But it takes time to do that. So errors are fine. Failures are fine because failures bring you closer to the success. And I'm going to tell you this from the mind of a wealthy man. The bigger the failure, the greater the success. You just stay the direction of your pursuit, but stay in unity with each other to accomplish it. And it won't be as painful when you hit the hurdle and fall to the ground. At least there's a cushion on the other side. Watch. Failure is few errors in judgment repeated. Okay. Success is a few simple disciplines that are practiced every day. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. You will absolutely have more of those than you will failures, as long as we stay the path and our course. He said, if you start early, the fortune is yours later. Woo! Generational wealth, reparation, repair. I touched that. Okay. He says it's a challenge for many to start older than younger, because we had to break up that psychological thinking I had, man, I wish I knew this earlier, but man, I'm 70 years old now. I don't have enough, I don't have the time to produce everything that dude is doing. This is where you're wrong. See, because you're at the stage now, because when you were 50, you were being brought to this direction. When you were 30, you were being moved towards this direction. And those interweavings and interwoven circumstances produced you here now. Why? Your whole life, that younger you prepared for the current you, and you are now preparing for the older you. This is timeless. This wealth building, the sensation of working with God's money and recognizing we're God's people, it leaves you timeless in the pursuit and limitless in the success and relentless in letting everybody know. Okay, we go the direction we face the direction we design. A chain of circumstances, small journey to a new direction. And self-esteem starts to exhilarate in every accomplishment. That's all I got, family. That's not all, but I'm gonna create that little discipline for just making it all that I have, because I can go on another hour, but that wouldn't be cool. That wouldn't be cool. I want to thank you all for the time. I want to thank you all for the energy that y'all constantly bring to this platform, to this. That's what makes the platform and the instructions that we learn and glean from so rewarding. I really, truly appreciate each and every one of us. And if I missed anyone in a shout out, please forgive me. There's so many of y'all in the line right now. I just can't do it. I will say this. Sister Patricia Marie Henderson has included her phone number in the comments. For those of us who were on a training last night, she's a herbalist. We were watching her create as we learned. So there are many of you that expressed everything from herniated discs to a broken love life. She might have a herb for that. So she put her number in the comments. Make sure that you go to it, and if that is your interest, to find out more of the healing powers from the lab. You know what a woman is? A woman is the lab of God walking on 2 feet. She can take a leaf. She can take a root. She can take something from the earth, look at it, and put it over you and say, don't worry, baby, it's going to be all right. Man, when a woman is empowered to be the God she is. My father used to say, they used to ask him in different interviews, do you pray to God? He said, every day. I absolutely believe in God. She's the best woman I ever met. When that God power is allowed to be itself, healing is imminent. It's imminent. So Patricia put her information there. Go to the comments, find it, find her, and find a way to create that herbal apple. And lastly, I will share that Sister Cece Mahone, thank you for adding the information. The huddle is at 7:45 this evening Eastern, 7:45 p.m. Eastern on www.goldrocks.info. All right. Okay, family, we're gone. You know how we do. We're going to continue our grind. We're going to continue to be successful. Heading over to Sister Lakeisha McKnight, the Bible study. Then I'm going to Brother Kansu Hotep Etum at his pre-show to the power call. Then 10:45, we're going to be there with the Real Browns, bringing the funk, bringing the noise on our power call. So thank you, family. Thank you so much. May Allah continue to bless and keep us. Thank you for the anniversary wishes, and we'll see you on the 100th episode. Peace and power forward.
Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah. Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live with the rap. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world, divided, we power united. Let's change the world, no fight, no war, but let's learn to to come again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's sing hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world. We come united. Let's change the world. No fight, no war. Let's learn to come again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfish. You wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle and tussle for all my brothers who struggle. And yet we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world. Divided we come united. Let's change the world. No fight, no war. Let's change the world. 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 Let's sing hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister. No doubt, shoots at the front door. Love is what you come for. Let's get it right, unite, but do it right.
Let's change the world. Divided we come united. Let's change the world. No fight, no war. Let's learn to come again. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Whoa. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.